Of course, we're all trying to manage during our power crisis and the fact that we simply do not have enough electricity. There are all sorts of ways to generate electricity. Some of them could get you through the crisis. Kate Stubbs is the marketing director at Interwaste. I know, we're talking to a company that deals with waste when it comes to electricity. Kate, good afternoon to you. We talk about wind power and solar power all the time. Can you manage electricity? Can you generate electricity from managing waste in a particular way?
Good afternoon, and yes, we can. Absolutely. There are many proven technologies globally that are already converting all sorts of waste types to electricity. And in South Africa, we have a few plants on a small scale that do so. But we believe it's a great opportunity now, especially where we sit in South Africa with a dire energy crisis and also a looming wage crisis, that the waste industry and waste could help alleviate some of our energy crisis woes.
How do you do it? I think I know how a solar panel works. I've understood the idea behind a windmill since I was a child. How do you generate electricity from waste?
Well, you know, we're trying to shift the thinking of rather seeing waste as a resource. And there are various technologies, and some of the three key solutions are thermal, biological, and physical. So from a thermal side, that's sort of like incineration, but you're converting a waste to energy through thermal destruction process. There's pyrolysis and biogas type plants. So there you can treat all sorts of types of waste where you feed waste in as a resource that creates steam, heat, or energy, and you can feed that into the grid. And those type of solutions are very useful, and they use a lot of municipal solid waste and are operating in large cities around the world. From a biological process, those are types of solutions that use organic waste, sewage sludge, animal carcasses, anything that's compostable. You've got anaerobic digestion plants, so we know that organic waste creates a lot of methane gas. So those plants capture that methane gas and convert that into energy. I mean, we have a plant in Gauteng that we don't have it, but there is a plant operating in Gauteng that provides energy to one of the motor manufacturers in Roslyn in Pretoria. And then from a physical side, there are also different types of waste that cannot be recycled but has a calorific value, either solid or liquid, that can be physically processed into a refuse-derived fuel. And at the moment, we process both types, both a solid type and a liquid type, that we feed in as an alternative energy, as a replacement or a co-feed into cement kilns as energy. So, I mean, those are just some of the more basic and well-known solutions of converting different waste types into energy.
Is it expensive to get a system going? Does it cost a lot of money?
Yeah, I mean, the cost, so compared to solar and wind, the cost per kilowatt hour in terms of generation is about double. But I think what's important to understand is the solar and wind solutions are very reliant on climate or seasonal, whereas a waste-to-energy plant can run 24/7, so it creates a good base load of energy into any system. But then also the cost depends on the scale of the plant. And it does, in certain instances, large-scale plants, especially if you're going to do a large-scale municipal contract, you need a 10 to 15-year agreement in place to make sure that you both secure the feedstock, obviously the waste coming in, and the offtake of selling that electricity. But in the scale of large power plants, no.
I suppose the one problem might be getting the waste to the plant. If it goes through quite a lot of waste, you have to transport the waste there. Now, we transport waste anyway because they go to dumps, and from dumps they sometimes go to other places. But can that be quite expensive?
Yes, it can. So the commercial viability of waste-to-energy plants really depend on a couple of factors, and it is quite complex. But you ideally want your feedstock, your waste types to be close to the plant, and at the same time, you would like your off-taker, so if you're selling that heat or electricity close by so that you can wheel straight into a grid. So proximity to from both a feedstock side and an off-take side is important. I mean, there are quite a few legislative challenges too, both from the environmental management side and the energy side. And there's also just dealing with public perception. I think when we talk about waste to energy, many people just see pollution. They think you're burning waste and that creates more pollution. But all the latest technology and our type of regulations really govern that. I mean, the scrubbers in those emissions, there's strong emissions control. And so from a pollution perspective, waste-to-energy plants or compliant waste-to-energy plants aren't a problem. It's much more about getting that consistency and security of feedstock and making sure you can sell the electricity or feed it into a grid.
Kate Stubbs, thanks very much indeed, Marketing Director at Interwaste. Really do appreciate the time. For those of you who think I spend my time talking rubbish, for a while, you've been right.